Hi, Fiona from the Healing Switch here. Today I'm going to talk briefly about bursitis. So if you've had it or you've got it now, you'll know that it's an extremely painful condition. I've actually had it myself in the past, so yeah, I'm talking from first hand when I know that it's really painful. And when people come to me, book in for a treatment at the Healing Switch, there's a few things I'll do when bursitis is presenting. And one of them is I will free up the area around the inflammation. And the other is that and really importantly, I'll look at what might have actually caused the bursitis. And there's a few things. There's injury, there's repetitive movement, and there's also there could be a postural issue. There's a bone or a couple of bones that are in odd positions. And before I go into more detail on those points, I just want to quickly talk about what is bursitis and yeah. Um, so bursitis is inflammation, and it's inflammation of something called the bursa. And bursa is a fluid-filled sac. And there are many of them in our body, but the majority of them are around the joints, and they've got quite a wonderful role actually. They separate bones, or they separate other structures in our body as well, but today I'm going to talk about joints. So we're going to talk about bones, because what's in a joint? Bones. And the bursa, the little fluid-filled sacs, keep the bones separate so that they're not, if the bursa wasn't there, they'd be rubbing up against each other, and there'd be friction and there'd be wear and tear. So keeping the bones separate means that they're going to be lasting a lot longer. The other function is that the bursa helps the gliding movement, smooth movement. When you think about, so for example, the shoulder joint, we've got the movement forward and back, up and down. There's a lot of movement going on. And without the bursa, that's not going to be such a gliding, smooth movement. So there's the bursa, or bursae, plural. What happens in bursitis? The bursa gets irritated and becomes inflamed. So when I'm working with these conditions, I will use comfortable positions. I will use pain-free adjustments. I'll put the body into positions where the bones and muscles and tendons, tissues, etc., around the inflamed area I release the pressure around the inflamed area, and then that also lets the bones and muscles come back into alignment. So if, for example, there is a bone that is in a weird angle and it's just putting a little extra pressure onto the bursa, and that might be what's caused the irritation and inflammation, then it's really kind of useful to make adjustments, gentle, pain-free adjustments, that help the body come back into alignment and the bones come into a better situation. The other thing that's happening is when that pressure is released around the joint, there's more flow of white blood, well, all the fluids, but in particular, we're looking at increased flow of a particular white blood cell called a macrophage, and it has its job. It's the natural mechanism of the body to clear inflammation. So if we can increase the flow and unblock any blockages, like, think about it, if there's restriction, there's less movement for the blood to flow and the fluids to flow to the joint area. Yeah, so that's where I'm helping to decrease the inflammation and to look at the underlying structural issues. And they just want to talk a little bit about another area or another reason that bursitis might be sparked, and that's after an injury. And after an injury, it's not uncommon for a part of the joint to become still, to stop moving, to protect, it's the body's way of protecting itself. But that lack of movement means there's a jam. So we really want to just gently get that area moving again. Makes sense, doesn't it, really? Yeah. So if you enjoyed this video and you'd like more information about anything, I'll be making many videos about particular areas, issues, and also self-care for those issues. So feel free to sign up on my mailing list. And I invite you also to pass this on to anyone that you think might be interested. So share the link. Thank you so much for listening. And meanwhile, in the meantime, may we all find the better version of ourselves and the better version of our bodies. Thank you so much for listening. Bye for now.